Hello and welcome to Flippin Through, the internet's #1 Mad Magazine news, review, and interview channel. And today we're flipping through Mad Magazine number 409, released September 2001. Cover price 2,099 hundredths of a penny. Why did I say 2,099? $2.99, which is indeed a good buy. Why does it say goodbye? What the? Why doesn't it's supposed to say cheap? Oh, goodbye. You are the weakest link. Goodbye. Wow. All right. Anyway, before we do that, please let me remind you, hit like, hit subscribe, leave a comment down below. That's the #1 way that you can support this YouTube channel. We're over 1,000. We're comfortably over 1,000 now. I was worried for a little bit. Concerned, because sometimes it goes up and down, that after I said congratulations to us all for making 1,000, that would dip down, but we're comfortably over 1,000 at this point. Hit like, hit subscribe, leave a comment. I want to keep growing, and I got to get your help for that. If you want to support me in another way, patreon.com/flippinthrough. You'll get what do I got? I got stencils, I got buttons, I got a 6 set of stickers for every single person that supports me on Patreon, no matter what the amount. So, patreon.com/flippinthrough. Link is in the description. These are the people that I get to thank for their support today. Jacqueline Gosling, Reflection of Perfection, Misimo, Tom Richmond, David Strickler, Megan McInerney, Shane Buckley, Bobby Weigel, Cam Hayden, Rob Wilson, Rod Mead Sperry, Andrew Goldfarb, Casey Ori, and Little Cozy Nostrils. Thank you guys so much for the support. I hope I can keep on earning it. With that, let's get there. Let's get to this. Mad Magazine number 409. Look at this cover. It's fine. It's the bitch from The Weakest Link, right? That was her thing, is that she was a bitch, and she was rude to people, and she was very curt, and she would say, "You are the weakest link. Goodbye." Oh, uh-oh. Ad alert. Yes, we are in the 400s. We're in the year 2001. That means that we are fully stocked with ads. Earthworm Jim ported the original SNES, or was it Sega Genesis? I think it was SNES. The original version of this game being ported to the Game Boy Advanced. Kind of cool. I loved that. But I don't want to give any more attention to that ad. Here's a terrible table of contents. Oh, and here we have Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone. What a great... I got to get a wedge. I just need it like that angle. What is that, like 15 degrees? I need a 15-degree angle wedge that I can use for this magazine, because this doesn't work. All right, it just doesn't work. Here we go, going into the letters page. There's lots of cool stuff on here. Photographs from the Reuben Awards. Jack Davis won a Reuben. So did Sergio Aragones and Matt Groening. And here's the whole gang right there. I don't want to go through that because I want to talk about this. Still WWF'd up. Let me just say that a great injustice has been done to MAD. It occurred in issue 405. Now, this is a letter. This is a famous letter, and I've been wanting to talk about this for a while. Gary Orton from Cedar City, Utah, wrote this letter in, very upset. But to fully appreciate this situation, to appreciate this letter, you have to know the context. The context begins all the way back in Mad Magazine number 400. Here we have artist John Wyman, writer Mike Snyder, doing the celebrity cause of death betting odds for Vince McMahon. Now, here's the thing. You go in and it says this: VD contracted from one of D'Lo Brown's Poe escorts. The Poe escorts. Now, that seems like an innocuous enough type of thing to say in a magazine, but it wasn't. In fact, it caused somebody to write in a letter in issue number 405. So Let's check that out. Issue 405, we have WW effed up. In your celebrity cause of death betting odds in MAD 400, you stated that Vince McMahon would die from contracting VD from one of D'Lo Brown's hoe escorts. Obviously, you have not been smelling what The Rock is cooking, because if you did, then you would know that it was The Godfather, now known as The Good Father, who was the pimp and who had the hoe escorts. Just thought you should know that for future reference. From Eugene Lumley in the Bronx, New York. To which Ed replies, Turnbuckle Boy, you are absolutely correct in pointing out this obvious mistake. We originally had The Godfather in our response, but were forced to change it due to pressure from the right to censor. Now, do you smell what the Ed is cooking? Ed. All right, so we have issue 400, we have issue 405, and then now we have issue 409, and this is Gary's response, still WWF'd up. Let me just say that great injustice has been done to MAD. It occurred in issue 405 of the letters page. Eugene Lumley from New York told you guys that you had not been smelling what The Rock was cooking because D'Lo Brown had never had hoe escorts. Let me reassure you that there was a brief period when D'Lo actually had hoes. It was when he teamed with The Godfather. I used to always watch this before I got a life. Therefore, you guys were right all along. What was this idiot thinking? As a faithful reader, I would like you to know that I am on your side and will probably watch out for errors like this as long as my orthodontist keeps up his MAD subscription. Gary Orton, Cedar City, Utah. Yo, G, let me get this straight. You read MAD in your orthodontist office, took the time to write us to correct a mention of D'Lo Brown's hose in a wrestling storyline that played out about 2 years ago, and you insist in your letter that you have a life? Gary-O, it's time for you to smell what the psychotherapist is cooking. Ed. Now, it didn't end there. We move on to D'Lo Down. This is in MAD Magazine number 412. I'm writing this letter to reply to your letters page of issue 409, and in particular, the one from Gary Orton. Just who in the blue hell is he to question the Great One? I never said D'Lo Brown never had hoe escorts, but it was the Godfather who always had the hoes as escorts. For the record, D'Lo Brown only picked up the pimping storyline to try and save his career in the World Wrestling Federation. Gary should stop visiting his orthodontist and start making more trips to his optometrist because his eyes are very bad. That's my story, and I'm sticking by it. If you smell what Eugene is cooking, Eugene Lumley, Bronx, New York. Blue Jean. Well, well, well. Meow! Nothing we like more than a petty little squabble on the letters page. And about something important, too. A 3-year-old wrestling storyline. Well, Gary-O, it's your turn to respond to this simmering D'Lo pimp hoe controversy. We just hope you have an orthodontist appointment and see this letter. Hardcore Ed. Now, did it end there? Kind of, but not really. It continues in MAD Magazine number 415, where our friend Gary writes back. Where is it? Here we go. In a section called Feud for Thought. There's an editor's note that explains how this all went down. This is Gary's response to Lumley's letter back in MAD Magazine number, can I keep them straight? 412. What's up? First off, let me say, I got my braces off months ago. So now I have to buy MAD from the store, and sometimes I miss an issue. However, I did pick up the one where that putz, Eugene Lumley, or as he calls himself, the Great One, said I need to go to the optometrist. Since we last spoke, I have put the WWF as far back in my mind as I can, and I don't even remember what happened with the whole pimp hoe controversy. But what about Eugene? Honestly, he can't let it go. I'm curious, how old is old Gene, anyways? Is he just like some 30-year-old who still lives with his parents? I've hit the grand age of 18 and have matured slightly enough to put this pre-adolescent soap opera behind me and watch real sports like football. I think that the only thing Eugene is cooking is a load of crap. Well, I think I better translate this into Eugene terms. Orton 316 says, I just kicked your ass. Gary Orton, Cedar City, Utah. Gary O and Eugene L. In the words of the immortal Rodney King, can't we all just get along? Well, evidently not. So rather than continue to publish your increasingly insulting missives, we're going to throw this to our readers. Who's the grade A chicken-boned moron, Gary O or Eugene L? Send your opinions on this matter to Amy, the Big Ref, 1700 Broadway, New York, New York, 10019. We'll print the best of these letters in an upcoming issue, and please don't hesitate insulting these two meatheads. Ed. So, the final chapter of this epic saga comes in Mad Magazine number 418. And here we have Feud for Thought. And there's a whole editor's recap, which you don't need to hear because I've just given it to you. I've given you the whole big picture. Thank goodness I'm here. I think they're both morons. I mean, what kind of stooge gets into a feud by writing to a magazine? Christopher Miles, Santa Cruz, California. What kind of backwood Alabama idiots are these? Well, they're from Utah and New York, I think. Not. Have they not considered that nobody gives a flying chair who is a pimp, and no one cares if one is tougher than the other because it's all staged anyway? It's real to me. Personally, I think both Eugene and Gary are both grade A chicken bone morons. We all know Gary is just some weirdo with greasy hair that sits in his room and watches old wrestling reruns. Eugene can't be much worse, except the fact that he's probably 45 and living in his parents' basement. And finally, I can't read them all. Who cares? Stop wasting ink on these two grade A chicken-boned morons. Randy Gazzara, San Diego, California. My only hope in all the world is that Eugene or Gary watch this video and reach out to me. That would make my day. But we have to move on. Look I have stacks and stacks of these magazines that I have to go through. This is actually what we're trying to go through. Mad Magazine number, what is it? 409. Here we have, I got to say, this is like a weird time because you don't really see colorized Angelo Torres very much. And this was supposed to be one of the great blockbusters of the early 2000s. And I think it kind of fell flat. It was just a remake of Tora Tora Tora, wasn't it? Like nearly shot for shot, just with like fancy CGI and Tom Hanks or something. Like we need that in a movie. Uh-oh. Oh, what's going on? There we go. The ad alert. Yeah, Batman Vengeance. Coming fall of 2001. That's reassuring, but lots of video games. This is one I really want to make sure that I get time to look at. And I got to fly. Look how thick this is. It's as thick as pig shit. But the Mad Mall directory for things regular mall directories never point out. So we're going to kind of scan through this Wimmelbilder. This is the sexiest, the sexiest Tom Bunk drawings ever. That's not saying that they are sexy, but they're the sexiest that he's ever made. Prime looking down women's blouse zone. And so you have going down the escalator a lot of big busted gals. Here you have Prime looking up women's skirt zone. Maximum spitting opportunities walking below. Oh, look at that. That's so disgusting. Do kids do that still? I don't know. Do kids even go to the mall? Best location to crank up annoying boombox for maximum acoustic dispersal. Yeah, know what I don't like is that some people have They'll do that like with their phones. They'll just walk around listening to their music without earbuds. Like, why would you do that? Best corner to take a leak in if you can't find a restroom. I mean, look at this. You probably aren't even reading it. Hopefully you're just like scanning these amazing pages. Oh, hey now. Kitty carousel for really lame divorced dads to bring kids on visitation days. Oh, that's sad. Multiplex exit door that does not close tightly. And here we have a self-insert from Tom Bunk right there. And there's this guy too. This guy's always showing up. What's his deal? Oh, and Al Jaffee. Look at that. That's fun. Anyway, we got to keep chugging along. There is a lot of stuff in here that I'm not really going to be able to spend time on because that letters part took a lot longer than I anticipated. So we'll go through some of this. Creeping signs that might lead you to believe global warming is for real. Don't worry, guys. It's a sham. Not happening. You suddenly realize it's impossible to give directions to out-of-towners without using the phrase, hang right at the giant melting iceberg. Casual Friday Speedo sightings are up a disturbing 39%. You find yourself asking, when did Siberia become a force to be reckoned with on the surfing circuit? Angsty Tensky. Borscht Boy. In Russia, the ocean surfs you. You discovered that sunscreens rated at 1000 SPF don't even begin to work. And here we have, your glee over the news that the tropical rainforest is making a comeback is tempered by the fact that it's happening in your suburban Detroit neighborhood. Now let's zoom out. This is a really cool one because the artwork is by the dude that I love, the artist that I love, Herman Mejia. And I don't know, man. It's so great. He does this cool thing with like human flesh. Like, and it's really on display like here. A little under boob in the fold right there. Like, I don't know. He's just really good at conveying texture, warmth. Yeah. Anyway, this is the Maimed Flesh. The magazine for people who mutilate their bodies with excessive tattoos and grotesque piercings and a misguided cry for attention. That's like a take that nobody has anymore, but I think needs to make a comeback. It's sort of like looking down their nose at people who have tattoos and piercings. I'm ready for that. I think that it should make a comeback because it's too popular. You should have to cover them in shame. Here's the inebriated frat boy tattoo salon. The Botched Dragon Custom Tattooing, 895 Mistake Street, Cleveland, Ohio. Ink Tots. Anyway, we're going to keep moving on. Because really this stuff, that's like the help wanted thing. Here we have the Tattooing and Piercing Expo of 2000. The award winners. And this is like, I don't know, like, you know what's fucked up is that I look at his art and part of it almost looks photographic in a way. Like, it's just, I don't know, he captures the heaviest ear, 67 separate piercings, helped Janine Musk's left ear tip the scales at a whopping 2 pounds, 4 ounces. Like, this is gross. I don't know about you guys, but like, I find this gross. Bretifer Rumpstank was only 6 when he was impaled in the skull by a misthrown lawn dart at a family reunion in Soddy Daisy, Tennessee. Where's the lawn dart? As a badge of pride. Now, this one's kind of fucked up. I'm like disturbed by this. Youngest tattoo or piercing. Our youngest contestant ever, little Marquis Belt Whelp, age 7 months, took first prize for youngest tattoo and piercing, but had to relinquish the trophy when social services showed up and took the child into custody. Yes. This is, oh, God, it's just horrible. It's horrible seeing his illustrations or his paintings. And it goes on. He's a great artist. This looks like some Garbage Pail Kid style thing. This whole thing was pretty fun. Oh, I almost hit ad alert. But as you guys know, house ads do not count in the ad alert counter. All right, so just keep that in mind. Oh, this does though. Yeah, the X Games double page ad. And here we have the amazing Monroe and the Great American Road Trip, Part 1. Here's the deal with Monroe. I stopped going through them. Why? Because on Potter's EV podcast, Kyle, Bridget, and I are going through all of them. And it's great. I love doing that. And so take your time, hit pause if you need to. Monroe is probably the high water mark of Mad Magazine at this time period. Absolutely. A classic, a Mad classic. Oh, another ad alert? Tech Deck dude? No, thank you. No, thank you. I don't even have any fond memories of Tech Deck dude. How We First Met, Stories That Today's Young Lovers Will Be Stuck With, Volume 2. Here we have, in the Boy Scouts, he was my troop leader. Here you have this. At the senior prom, he helped me when my water broke. Right there. There was something about the way that she typed LOL at all my stupid jokes. Some of these are kind of sweet, right? I was drunk as hell at spring break, and he gave me $20 to flash my boobs for his Girls Gone Wild video. I think all those guys are in jail now. We're going to, unfortunately, we just don't have time for the lighter side of. And we also don't have time for celebrity cause of death betting odds, Julia Roberts. This art done by Herman Mejia, which, I can't help but sing his praises. This is controversial, always controversial. Listen, it's always movies. It's always movies at the time. It's never television programs at the time. It's always movies at the time. And it's an ad. It's an ad. I'm sorry. And I know that people don't like to hear that. There's another ad. And I get it. It's, some of them are funny. Some of them I do like, but that's all. I don't know. That's my controversial opinion for the day. Here we have Paul Coker Jr. doing the perennial sports calendar. April 1st, baseball season opens. Gary Sheffield insists he's a changed man. I wish I understood that joke. February 9th, Fox introduces yet another graphic enhancement gimmick in desperate attempt to make hockey watchable on TV. Broadcast rises in Nielsen's rating to 119, just behind the WB's Charmed. Hockey is so horrible to watch on television. Why is that? So much fun to watch in person. So just such little fun in over television. March 27th, Mike Tyson signs to fight a recently this is kind of true right now. Mike Tyson signs to fight a recently paroled retarded fighter with only slightly less intelligence than Tyson himself at bizarre pre-fight weigh-in. Tyson threatens to father his opponent's grandmother. Bout is postponed. Jake Paul and Mike Tyson. They called it. And it goes on and on. We're at 23 minutes, and there's this one that I really wanted to talk about. Spy versus Spy. And look at, the Spy got a Dear John letter. I don't not love you anymore. I don't love you anymore. Mary. He goes up. He's sobbing. He's writing. It says, "Goodbye, cruel world." Oh, you would think that anybody with a heart would be saddened when they find a suicide note. But no, not the black spy. He laughs because, of course, it's the white spy's suicide note. The white spy jumps, and the black spy can't help but investigate and see his foe's mangled body that's sprawled on the street. And there it is. Mary gets dropped right on his head. Anyway, The Wicked Link. Again, this issue is really a banger. You have Bill Ray doing a TV spoof, which doesn't happen too often. Like Blair Witch Project, he did that one. written by Dick DeBartolo. One of the bummers is that in things like Monroe, Bill Ray is so good at filling it with chicken fat. But I guess like a thing like this, a television show, it's a game show, doesn't really lend itself to a lot of chicken fat, which is too bad because Bill Ray's really good at that stuff. Yeah, I guess, is this chicken fat? Watching somebody get shot in the head, assassinated? I don't know if that is chicken fat or not. Here oh man, ad alert for another video game. And here we have a beautiful unfolded fold-in. And you guessed it, another ad. Now you'll notice that this is unfolded because this comes from my personal collection when I was a child. I was a man at 2001. Wait, was I? No, I was a boy. I was in high school. Comes from my very personal collection of Mad magazine. Sorry I had to rush through it, but those letters are just too great to ignore. Thank you guys so much for watching. Hit like, hit subscribe, and leave a comment down below. Toodaloo.